Sheriff Todd Baxter, employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. District Attorney Sandra Doorley, employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. Paul C. Meltzer, James Mullen Jr., Penn Town Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I've been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor's not talking to court. Total silence convicts me. So I'm going to read these Freedom of Information Law documents, run demand, close the names on the prosecutor's silence, and you will refuse. There's only 4 here on this August 8th. I wish there could be 70 in here. And there have been times on here where there have been 70 and refused to comply with every single one. So, I have here personal disclosure, financial disclosure of District Attorney Sandra Doorley that I acquired using the Freedom of Information Law. Because it says right here on this December 14th, personal financial disclosure of District Attorney Sandra Doorley. And on the same day, it says the personal financial disclosure of Sheriff Todd Baxter. You, Sheriff Todd Baxter, refused to comply because you're corrupt. And then I got an email saying you needed some time extension. How long ago is this? 7 months ago? And I had been demanding this prior to this December 14th. Sheriff Baxter. Why are you, Sheriff Todd Baxter, refusing to send your financial disclosure to me? Because I believe I have written that for at least 10 times. It could be more than 20 times. But District Attorney Sandra Doorley complied. And this is really odd. Because the District Attorney of Monroe County, who has been at the District Attorney's office since 1992, essentially has no money. I don't know what to think about that. And since I first read this, I still don't know what to think about that. I will not say something's corrupt or unethical unless I'm confident. I have no confidence in what this is. And I'm going to read parts of it. Where it says Sandra Doorley, District Attorney. And then it has your address here. 47 South Fitzhugh. List any interest in excess of $1,000, excluding bonds and notes, and then it has a full description here on this graph. It says none. List the name, principal address, and general description of the nature of the business activity, and it goes on from there. None. List each source of gifts in excess of $1,000 in aggregate received by, and then it describes received by. None. Identify and briefly describe source of any reimbursements for expenditures, and that says none. So you got none 4 times. Then you have identify the parties to any contract or promise, goes on from there, none. Identify the parties to any terms of agreement, goes on from there, none. List below the nature amount of any income in excess of $1,000, goes on from there, none. This large graph here, list below the type and market value of securities, none. That's number 13. List each interest or trust estate, none. List below the location, size, general age, acquisition date, estimated market value, percentage of ownership in any real property, none. List below all notes and accounts receivable, none. List below all liabilities of the reporting individual, none. Describe any interest you or your spouse or your unemancipated children have in any contract involving the county and municipality located in the government, none. Some of these are understandable, like the last one. Any interest you have in the county and municipality within the county you're located. That makes sense, none. These other ones I read, I don't understand that at all. And I'm not going to pretend to be an actuary or an accountant or anything like that, but I will send this to someone who is an actuary or accountant or someone that has interest in this. Because there are regulatory bodies that have control over you, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Perhaps you're doing nothing wrong. I don't know. But I'm trying to find out because this is odd. This is weird. For 30 years, you essentially have no money. There's your signature right there. So, you complied by providing nothing. The financial disclosure I looked at when I was a United States Senate employee, United States House of Representatives employee, with Congressman Morris Smith and Senator Olympia Snowe, the documents had a range where you had to disclose some type of value. There's no range here whatsoever because you have none. But you complied by sending me a document that announces you have no money. So that's the way it is. I'm not saying this is corrupt or unethical. I'm saying this is odd and weird. And perhaps someone that knows can take this beyond odd and weird, which I'm in pursuit of. Because you're definitely corrupt, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Do you disagree with that? Employees of the District Attorney's Office, Perry Douglas, Mark Monahan, Michelle Crowley? I'll disabuse you of that with 3 words. Conviction Integrity Unit. The District Attorney of Monroe County has to have a separate bureaucracy within the District Attorney's Office to police herself, and the driving force reason for this abomination is innocent citizens in jail when prosecutors don't talk in court. I've been in jail 6 times. There's not one word, one sound, one syllable from a prosecutor describing in detail a crime, forcing me into these star chambers for policy matters from John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Pafftown Court just to declare me guilty when my due process is smashed into a million little pieces. One who hacks sociopaths then forced me into Alex Renzi because of Michael Houlihan. I would be in state prison right now because of Michael Houlihan, because Alex Renzi was trying to get me to plead guilty to attempted felony assault with $73,000 Michael Houlihan, and Don Benedetto hit on the private property of my neighbor. They came running at me in the dark of midnight. I turned around and run away. I grab a hammer next to my bike. I place my foot on the first three steps to run through the sliding glass door. Houlihan grabs my arm. The hammer goes up. I run through the sliding glass door. I never stop running. This is why you're in Jonestown, Sheriff Todd Baxter, and why your employees are Kool-Aid drinkers. I never stopped running. Now I have to come up with a line for why they're there. And Houlihan said, I swung a hammer at him. And then when you convene the grand jury, director of the grand jury, Michelle Crowley, Michael Houlihan states in that grand jury, I swung a hammer at him. He purges himself. So I'm in front of Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court before this. There's no prosecutor there to make an argument that I committed a crime. This is where I think I could have been delivered to state prison. Here's Renzi in front of me. I'm his defendant Skell, with the fiction in the fantasy land of the head of Michael Houlihan. And he reads this ludicrous thing to me, and he doesn't know what I know, just like he knows nothing about any of my concocted charges, which I told him previously, because I'd already been in front of him. And my exact words to him was, you don't know anything. So here is 70-year-old fossil Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court staring at me after he reads the charge for me from this corrupt psychopath cop, Michael Houlihan, and he's waiting for me to plead. And I'm thinking, does this hacking sociopath think that I'm going to plead guilty to this? Because this is not county jail, in my mind. Any type of assault is state prison. And I said I've never committed a crime, not guilty. So I was in jail for that anyway. In Geneseo, New York, Livingston County. No money district attorney. So, but I don't know if it's the no money sheriff. Because the same foil is this day. Right here, personal file disclosure of Sheriff Todd Baxter, and you refused. I'll have to check my Gmail, which is C-Charges to JU04, which is on here. And I believe you sent documentation when you asked for an extension. Send me a financial disclosure, Todd Baxter. The district attorney having no money is odd. And you, Todd Baxter, are beyond odd in refusing to send me a financial disclosure 6+ months ago. This is your contempt for the law, you Benito Mussolini skinhead, because you demand accountability answers every day from your employees. And I'm demanding accountability answers for you using a foil, and you're refusing. Just like Todd Baxter, you refuse to tell me if this photograph here is private technology, a 2025 Penfield roll for a business called Consumer Insights, Welly Roth's the president, or if you bought it and fixed it for me. And that's called a surveillance device. And the public defender sent me the images. Regina Harper, assistant public defender, sent it to me. And I watched myself on this. I first saw myself on this when I came outside to tell Steve Debs and Brock Tree and Lawn Care, nobody owns the land next to my residence, and walk back to my residence. Because I already know nobody owns the land next to my residence, because Timothy Murphy, the Monroe County Office of Property Tax Service, can't confirm it. And this is why Shannon Meyer's a cop freak. And this is why Shannon Meyer hates human beings. And this is why Shannon Meyer is corrupt. And you, Todd Baxter, are a cop freak. And you, Todd Baxter, hate human beings. And you, Todd Baxter, are corrupt because you gave her a $16,000 raise. It's not a crime for me to tell a man on his tractor nobody owns the land and walk back on my residence. Then you six fanatics get there. Maya runs into my backyard, crash lands on her face. There she is laying in my backyard dirt. There's this insane pounding on my door. I go outside and say, what's the problem? They say, we just want to talk to you outside. That's a lie. I walk onto my front lawn. Maya runs around to the front. This hyperventilating freak has dirt on her face, dirt on her uniform, and her handcuffs go on. Do you know, Sheriff of Monroe County Todd Baxter, for me to tell a man on his tractor nobody owns the land next to my residence and walk back inside, that's not a crime. And I was expecting something like this to happen because shortly before this happened, I'm walking through the parking lot. I see Elliot Roth, who works right here at this business, and he says you're going to be arrested. I have no idea what he's talking about. So Todd Baxter, Sheriff of Monroe County, is this private technology that's already on this business where Elliot Roth is the president. You buy it and fix it for me. Because when he took me downtown, put me in the bathroom, locked me inside, I couldn't reach the urinal, I urinated on myself. Then your Monroe County Sheriff Office employee came to me, and on his phone is me outside telling Desmond my right arm is moving, that nobody owns the land next to my residence. And then you're calling Lindsey Barron, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, to come to my residence because I used the phrase surveillance device that's right here that the public defender sent to me. And Elliot Roth says to me, you're going to be arrested because he knows this is on the building. Lindsey Barron of the Monroe County Office of Mental Health chased me down a road called Willow Pond Way. I'm finishing my run. There's the Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle in my driveway. She sees me. The Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle is driving down Willow Pond Way, and I'm running. And Lindsey Barron is screaming at me outside the vehicle. I want to talk to you, Chris, as I'm running. Lunatic Fringe. You're the Lunatic Fringe. You should be the Lunatic Fringe Sheriff's Office for your accuracy. So, the no money sheriff and the no money district attorney. And you've been super lifers, siphoning from taxpayers for 30 years, and you both have no money. So these are criminal complaints. I'm not going to read them. These are in your office. For Richard J. Seaman violently attacking me at the Pembroke Public Library. That's a crime that's been notarized by Christopher M. Price, the Monroe Branch of Rochester Public Library. Michael Houlihan lying under oath and saying I swung and hammered him. That's been notarized by Christopher M. Price, the Monroe Branch of Rochester Public Library. My ex-girlfriend Laura Riley taking every single thing I own to a storage locker in Webster when I'm in Livingston County Jail and I don't know about it, requires a court order. That's a crime. That's been notarized by Christopher M. Price. It's in your office. You have it. And Neeraj and Layla Kumar Shah go into the sheriff's office, which is falsely reporting an incident about me, walk through a parking lot. I've walked through 4,000 times. And that's a Lunatic Fringe. You'll have to say, Todd Baxter, but what I'll hear is silence, is that it's a crime to walk to that parking lot. So, as far as who brings me to the attention of the sheriff's office, she's right here. This is February 16th. Sheriff Todd Baxter, $16,000 pay raise freak, 8329142 Shannon and Meyer. I'm telling you, all throughout this YouTube, I'm usually on here 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, that she's a freak. And you cannot recognize the fact that Shannon Meyer, employee of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, is a freaking right and a warrant for my arrest for a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times, but not anybody else. Because you, Todd Baxter, are a freak. I have here, you're the most ridiculous cop cliche there is. Because it does not matter to you that Richard J. Seaman walked into the Pembroke Public Library. It does not matter to you, Todd Baxter, you 5 vehicles, you 10 plus employees, stalked me over the wedges at 2157 Penfield Road. One of the employees exited his vehicle, ran at me, knocked me down, my head slammed down on the concrete pavement, and then he briefly sat on me. Because Paul C. Metzler wants to send me to jail again. State legislature needs to reform this abomination. That's a bench trial, which is not a trial that allows one judge anywhere in the state of New York, from Montauk to Buffalo, to sentence a citizen to jail. Because that's how civil and constitutional rights are obliterated. So, the blue wall silence. Doesn't matter to you, Todd Baxter, that Richard J. Seaman, your $75,904 freak, walked into Pembroke Public Library and violently attacked me. Doesn't matter to you, Todd Baxter, your employee exited his vehicle and violently attacked me at the pharmacy entrance to weapons where the 10 witnesses are 10 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees, including your female employee with the Marine-style haircut and tattoos. Because you're the blue wall silence, Todd Baxter. Can you recognize yourself? You cannot. So I have prosecutors of silence, who I call freaks. A prosecutor that cannot make an argument that a defendant committed a crime, and that defendant assigned to that prosecutor is sentenced to jail, is a freak every single time. Would you disagree with that? Perry Duckles and Mark Monahan, Michelle Crowley to District Attorney's Office? Don't. So this is the district attorney's office payroll here. Now, on this August 8th, I'm demanding simple information from you. It's only 4 here. So this is what it is. Foil, documentation of the case of Christopher Chichester, Palmertown Court for John P. Menzo Jr., what's the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley. This is the payroll for the district attorney's office. The freak is right here. What's the name of the freak? Freedom of information law. Documentation of the case of Christopher Chichester in Palmertown Court for Paul C. Menzo, what is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. This is the payroll for the district attorney's office. The freak is right here. What's the name of the freak? Freedom of information law. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester in New York State Supreme Court for Alex Renzi. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? It's payroll for the district attorney's office. The freak is right here. What's the name of the freak? Now, the fourth one on this August 8, 2023 is real simple. This John P. Menzo Jr. in Penfield Court released Daniel Glass III, an accused child rapist, on Annatel Luster of Penfield. And he doesn't recuse himself from that appearance by Daniel Glass III, even though he knows the family. So in the Democrat Chronicle, there's a story where he's quoted as calling these documents for why he released them defective. So I want to see these. This is one of the times Lindsey Barron came to my house. I wrote this foil previously. I went down to Penfield Court, this abomination, this Star Chamber. I stood there and said, my name's Chris Chichester. Here's a freedom of information. I want to see the defective documents, case of Daniel Glass III. And he refused. Sent him to me. Paul C. Metzer, you copied on here. James Finley Jr., you copied on here. These are the $28,000, $34,000 fossils in Penfield Court. Send those defective documents to me. And I know you refuse because you're corrupt. Freedom of Information Law, this August 8, 2023. The quote defective documents end quote Penfield Court for John P. Menzo Jr. for the case of Daniel Glass III. So, now, the district attorney's office, I demanded length of service here. And the longest serving employee is January 4th, 1992, Sandra Doorley, here for length of service. And Michelle Crowley, you were hired on August 9, 2012. So you've been at the district attorney's office for 10 plus years, Michelle Crowley. For 10 plus years, when you convene the grand jury, director of the grand jury, Michelle Crowley, do you not call the targeted grand jury? Do you not call that person to testify before the grand jury? Is the person the target of your grand jury, Michelle Crowley, since you've been at the district attorney's office for 10 plus years, always oblivious to the fact that the grand jury is convened? Because you're refusing every single time Michelle Crowley tell me the facts and circumstances of this grand jury that turns me into your personal ham sandwich. Why don't you call me to the grand jury? Because I'm astounded by that. I really am. And I have used the foil over and over upon you for you to disclose to me what's right here. On May 4th, Michelle Crowley, this is why you're corrupt. May 9th, pardon me. Information about the grand jury convened by District Attorney Sandra Doorley. That is 1, the month and year the grand jury is convened. The assigned District Attorney's office employee to address the grand jury. 3, the witness that testified the grand jury. 4, the vote of the grand jurors. 5, transcript of the grand jury proceeding. Again, this is why you're corrupt. Am I indicted by a majority? I don't know. If it's 24, is it 13 to 11 I'm indicted? I don't know. And I haven't committed a crime when I'm indicted. So the question I didn't ask on here, but I'm going to write to you, and I've written to you previously. Did you interview cop freak $73,000 Michael Houlihan and cop freak $85,000 Don Benedetto before this grand jury was convened? Did Benedetto and Houlihan both testify? Was it only Houlihan? Were additional witnesses? What's the answers, Michelle Crowley? And what you're thinking, just like, I don't know who watches me, but I'll guess that every single person, the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office, if they watch me at this 90 minutes, you're thinking he should be arrested, he should be in jail. Because you're psychopaths and you hate human beings. So, this is in your office. I've sent this over and over and over about Richard Seaman attacking me at the Penfield Public Library. So you have documentation from me that I know you will refuse to comply with because you're corrupt. And there's other documentation that is attached in PDF that you also refuse to comply with. That I'm looking for right now. And I have it right here. Pardon me. July 22nd, 2023. These are the criminal complaints notarized. Attached to 4 criminal complaints with this language: that Richard J. C., the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, walked into Penn Public Library, Penn, New York, ran into Christopher Chichester, slammed his arm to the head of Chichester, causing him to fall backwards and his head and around the top floor. 2. Mayor Roger Layla Kumar shot 2033 Penn, Road, Penn, New York, 44526, false reporting an incident of Christopher Chichester, formerly 26 Sanders from Drive, is walked through the park lot next to his residence. 3. Anthony Ospano, Fairport, New York, locked the back and front doors of the residence, 26 Sanders from Drive in Penfield without a court order, or robbed Webster, New York, transported the personal belongings of Christopher Chichester, 26 Sanders from Drive, Penfield to a storage locker in Webster, New York without a court order. These are crimes. Each individual will not be arrested or prosecuted. There is 1 day in jail. These crimes are destroyed by life because you're incapable of identifying crime and caught crimes for instances of hate human condition. Now I'm telling you here, rejection, Perry Douglas, and Mark Monahan, unconstitutional. So I believe it's unconstitutional for policy Messer and Pink, convened Penn Town Court. There's nobody from the district attorney's office present. Make an argument I committed a crime. So, May 20th, 2023, text for violence at Monroe County Jail. So, I'm not going to read this in the interest of time, the whole thing, but text for violence at Monroe County Jail at TikTok. I'll read this. Sheriff Todd K. Baxter, when I was in Monroe County Jail, as an innocent man were prosecuted in talk in court. I received my lunch tray one day, and 10 feet in front of me, one man attacked another man, and this became a fight, a real fight, where neither inmate was injured. But it was a vicious confrontation that was right in front of me. And then when I was in Livingston County Jail as an innocent man, I'm in Livingston County Jail because I can't be in Monroe County Jail because I was told I was a security risk given what I did to you on YouTube. I was walking to go speak to a public defender, but before I could open the door, one inmate ran up behind another inmate, knocked him to the ground, and then began to punch him on top of his head repeatedly. He hit him on top of his head with a closed fist 10 plus times as I stood there watching this. And then 15 Livingston County Sheriff employees came running through the door. I was just about to exit and immediately broke up this violent attack that I watched. So 48 hours later, I was told to go to a room and meet with an investigator because the camera saw me as a witness to this violent attack. The first thing he said to me is, quote, "I'm here to talk about the fight," end quote. And I said to him, quote, "not cooperating with anything that's a fight because I don't watch a fight. I watched a violent attack on an innocent man," end quote. And I sat with him for 90 minutes. He was a total professional and asking me about the violence I witnessed, a violent attack, and he wrote down my language and described it. I read the statement. That was about 1,000 words, and I signed a statement as a witness to this violent crime. I didn't hear anything about this attack in Livingston County Jail, but I witnessed. So I witnessed an attack in Monroe County Jail. I witnessed an attack in Livingston County Jail. I witnessed attacks at other places because of you, Sheriff Todd Baxter. What is going on in Monroe County Jail with violence? I'm not asking you if violence happens. I know violence happens in Monroe County Jail. Inmates attacking inmates, jail employees attacking inmates. That happened to me, and I explained that on YouTube. Do you have a daily report 7 days a week about violence? If there's no violence, you need to be told, quote, "there was no violence," end quote, at Monroe County Jail. If an inmate attacks an inmate, do you report it to the district attorney's office? I only have 20 seconds to go, you party switching stooge and degenerate. What you're going to do is refuse to answer because you're not accountable to anyone. There is violence in Monroe County Jail because I've seen it. I'm going to contact you with 1,000 words. I'm going to be on the side repeatedly about violence at you in Monroe County Jail, about how you, Todd Baxter, can't control violence at your jail. So I did contact you with 1,000 words because it's right here on this May 20th. Mark Monahan, Perry Douglas. Does Sheriff Todd Baxter report crimes at Monroe County Jail? Inmate on inmate violence, inmate on employee violence, any type of violence in Monroe County Jail? Are there charges at the district attorney's office for inmates that are committing crimes when they're already inmates or not? What I'm trying to find out is if Todd Baxter has no control over his jail. And I'm confident the answer is yes, but this will prove it. If there are crimes being committed at Monroe County Jail and you're prosecuting inmates that are already in jail, Perry Douglas and Mark Monahan, do you understand that me as a citizen, and I'm demanding this from you, and your refusal to answer me as a citizen is corruption? The answer is you don't understand because you're corrupt. So you have that there. I'm telling you on this February 16th, Sheriff Todd Baxter's $16,000 pay raise freak right here. Ansel O'Reilly, he's in the district attorney's office, sheriff's office over and over and over. This document right here. Shannon Marr began obliteration of my life. Then you can just concoct crime after crime after crime for me because you have no conscience. So that's in your office, February 16th. This is Lisa Gray. What is wrong with you, Lisa Gray? Counsel to the district attorney, $87,000. I'm telling you, I didn't write the language like I usually do. But I'm telling you, for Perry Douglas, the link here, if you looked at it, Perjurer, I'm telling you, Michael Houlihan's a perjurer. I'm telling you, Richard J. Sieben violently attacked the Department of Public Library. But leading up to this and since then, I'm telling you, or I copy you on Gmail or ProtonMail to tell me the names of my prosecutors. You work with these freaks. Lisa Gray. Lisa Gray, counsel to the district attorney. What would you think if you had a friend or a family member that was going to the jail and a prosecutor and talk in court? What would you think about that as an officer of the court? I'll tell you what you're supposed to think. You're supposed to think that civil and constitutional rights of your friend or family member was just obliterated by a corrupt judge. And that's happened to me 6 times, Lisa Gray. So this is January 26th. This is when I started contacting you with this document. Every time I contact you, FedEx, UPS, registered mail return receipt, this document's in it. Fanaticism, perjury, violence, rejection, accountability. These 5 links, the 2 that I'm concerned the most with is perjury, 73313, Michael Houlihan, 75904, Richard Sieben. They should be fired immediately. And I already wrote the criminal complaints about them. So, it's my ex-girlfriend, the criminal complaint about Anthony Spano, taking everything out. I own nothing, I have nothing. I'm in a little $600 apartment because of this 80-year-old man who will not be arrested, prosecuted, jailed because an 80-year-old man speaks in broken English. My dress screens from 17 Cavalry, 101st Airborne Division are gone. My 1,000 books are gone. My running shoes are gone. My bed's gone. All my clothes are gone. My father's dress he gave me when he was a child in Brooklyn is gone. Every single thing I own is gone because of Anthony Spano and my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley of Webster, New York. It's all being done without a court order. This old man thinks you can just smash my life into a million little pieces because I don't have a lease. And that's incorrect. So this is Laura Riley, who I wrote the criminal complaint about. And I contacted her on January 25th, prior to doing this. And I've been contacting her repeatedly before this language. Tell me what happened to my legal eviction. My legal eviction, you participate in, refusing to answer questions about. The law requires a court order removed by personal possession for 26 cents from driving Penfield, New York to a storage lot in Webster, New York. You know the fact about the law, you left possessions in a residence. What has happened to me is insane. The question is, 1, what individual called you to come forward? We used to live at 26 cents from driving Penfield. Did the dead son, Giuseppe Spano, the father, Antonino Spano, call you? 3, did the dead son, Giuseppe Spano, the father, Antonino Spano, use threatening language? 4, did the dead son, Giuseppe Spano, the father, Antonino Spano, state my personal possession to be thrown in the trash? 5, what did you say to my sister Barbara about paying for the storage locker? It is insane I have to ask these questions. Our relationship ended. I'm forced to demand answers from you because you decided to inject yourself into my life. You decided to be in my life under a sick and delusional belief that you're somehow helping me. I don't know if this is your email that doesn't have your name. It begins ludicrously with quote, send end quote. I don't know if you still live at 781 Winifred Drive in Webster, New York. I don't know why you refuse to respond to simple questions. I do know you exist in a state of indifference and decency, despite we lived at 3 different residences together. What's my name? Where am I from? How long have you known me? Contact me at address on Park Avenue below to the answers to these questions. Sign for your registered mail return receipt. Arrives for me, you aren't recognizable. Then I'm on YouTube twice. I was on YouTube twice before I wrote this to her. YouTube, if you go to YouTube and type for Laura Riley again, and then YouTube for Laura Riley, I'm talking to her. January 24th, a perfect 2-word sentence for District Attorney Sandra and Sheriff Todd Baxter, you freaks. Comply with the attached PDF dated January 24, 2020, that is 70 Freedom of Information Law documents. This attached PDF will arrive in your office with registered mail return receipt for the United States Postal Service tomorrow. Mail the information demand to address below Rochester. This includes an answer on prosecutor's silence. This is corruption, because it did arrive. The card came back to me. District Attorney Sandra looked right at the foil. I'm guessing. And she refused to disclose names on prosecutor. Does District Attorney Sandra Doorley go into the office for the standard 40-hour work week, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, or does she work from home? If District Attorney Sandra Doorley goes into the workplace for the standard 40-hour work week, is it with the car and driver? Is she chauffeured into the District Attorney's office? Or does she drive herself into the office like an ordinary New Yorker? And what's the answer? And you know the answer, Perry Douglas and Mark Monahan and Michelle Crowley. Telling you about Michael Houlihan again in that email. And then on January 22nd, again, I'm telling you, perjury and violence about these 2 cop freaks. They are the very definition of the blue wall silence. $73,000 Michael Houlihan, $75,000 Richard J. Sieben. This is why Todd Baxter, I'll never know if you're listening to me, or Michael Rather, Kathy Milne, William Tadell, Scott Bro. This is why they should be fired. It doesn't matter what's happened to me, because I know that's totally relevant. Moving forward, Michael Houlihan will lie under oath again, and he will be a psychopath cop the whole time he's at the sheriff's office. Richard J. Sieben will attack another innocent citizen again, and he will be a psychopath cop the whole time he's at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. I guarantee it. So here it is. This photographs why you're a fanatic. This photographs why you're an extremist. This photographs why you're a liar. This photographs why no name is $67,000 disgusting at Shanamar. This photographs why people hate the police January 16th. I copied this to the United States Attorney's Office this day. It's not the color photo, but you can see it right there. So this is attached to PDF. You can look at it again. Then you call Lindsey Barrett again, come to see me, invade my life. So January 14th, Janice McNair, Patrick hire. Did you call County Executive Adam Bell, Sheriff Todd Baxter about Janice McNair, who has to be double dipper now because he got his 20 at the sheriff's office, and now he's at this ridiculous office of public integrity in the city of Albany, where I lived for 5 years, and I lived in Albany County for 10 years. The county executive doesn't have an office of public integrity. The mayor of Albany doesn't have an office of public integrity. Todd Baxter, you are such a buffoon, a joke. Did you set this hack up with this patronage hire? What does the Office of Public Integrity do? He sent his mail back to me because I'll guess he's seen me on YouTube. Why does Janice McNair, he's sitting at his desk here at the Office of Public Integrity, I think it's on 45 Exchange Street. And then my mail comes back to me. Well, he must know my name. I'm going to say this again for you, Todd Baxter, and you employees of the Sheriff's Office. Did Sheriff Todd Baxter have any type of communication, phone call, email, in writing about Janice McNair being his patronage hire from this ridiculous bureaucratic concoction from 1984 that's the Office of Public Integrity? Such a joke. So on January 3rd, I contacted you again, amoral. Comply with the PDF dated January 3rd, 2023 to 66 Freedom Information Law documents. This attached PDF arrived in your office of the United Postal Service. It arrived. Sandra Doorley looked at it, I hope, and refused to disclose the names of our prosecutors. Just like this prosecutor here, who is the $144,000 Deputy District Attorney, Monroe County, Perry Duckles, January 1, 2023. Attached to PDF is a 61-page Freedom of Information Law document dated December 20, 2022 that arrived in your office of UPS. This documentation also arrived December 22nd, 2022, and December 26, 2022 via UPS and track. You have it. Preach, bring it to your corrupt boss, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Tell us pathetic accumulation of health afflictions. Send the information on my UPS address listed below. It includes the names of my prosecutors' silence. What's not to understand? I've been demanding names on prosecutor's silence for 18 months. I'll be in court again because your fellow psychopaths know it takes only one corrupt judge, since Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court, Paul C. That's a little down court, to declare me guilty of charge you concoct. A prosecutor's never talked in court for me. Yet I've been in jail 6 times. This is the States Department of Justice. You received the same FOIL documentation dated January 2nd, 2023 and January 3rd, 2023 that compels you to disclose the names of prosecutor's silence. You continue refusing craving silence. YouTube 61. It's called 61 because all 61 you refused. Paul O'Reilly, again, the same link. What's wrong with you, Perry Douglas? Just send me the names. It is mind-blowing to me that employees of a district attorney's office refuse to tell a citizen who's a defendant and sentenced to jail the name of the prosecutor assigned to that court appearance. This is just like the Duke University lacrosse players who are all innocent, not knowing Mike Nifon is the fanatical, corrupt, fucking degenerate destroying their life. I don't know the name of the fanatical, corrupt, fucking degenerate that has destroyed my life over and over and over. I have multiple degenerates, and you know their names. So that's attached in PDF, and you're going to refuse to comply every single time with the Freedom of Information Law. Corruption. These 4 foils here, dated this August 8th. Documentation for the case for Christopher Chichester in Pemberton Court for John Clemenza Jr. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. Documentation for the case for Christopher Chichester in Pemberton Court for Paul Singlet's. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. Documentation for the case for Christopher Chichester, New York State Supreme Court, Alex Renzi. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. Your refusal to disclose these names to me is corruption. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been an innocent man my whole life.